irony of all of this is that these people are targeting me for the abortion care that I provide, when that is actually the least common procedure.
Grey's Anatomy fans, get ready. The season 22 premiere could deliver one of the show's most heartbreaking twists yet. Season 21 ended in chaos when an explosion ripped through Grey Sloan Memorial, leaving several doctors' fates unknown. Among them was Dr. Atticus Link Lincoln, played by Chris Carmack, who was last seen mid-surgery in an operating room that took the brunt of the blast. Now, new comments from Camilla Luddington, who plays Jo, Link's wife, have sparked major concern. In an interview, she admitted she was shocked by how devastating the storyline became, even hinting that her husband on screen may not survive. Luddington recalled thinking Jo and Link were finally heading toward lasting happiness, especially after Jo revealed her pregnancy with twins. But as longtime Grey's fans know, moments of joy often lead to tragedy on this show. Adding fuel to the speculation, showrunner Meg Marinis confirmed that we clearly saw Link in immediate danger, leaving viewers to brace for the worst. Early images from Entertainment Weekly's exclusive first look at season 22 don't help either. They show Amelia Shepherd in tears while Winston holds her back, suggesting devastating news may be on the way. Of course, Grey's Anatomy has a history of teasing one character's death only to shock us with another's. While Jo is safe outside the hospital, others like Bailey, Teddy, Jules, and Monica were still inside when the explosion went off, meaning Link isn't the only one in jeopardy. With Grey's Anatomy returning October 9th, fans will finally get answers. Will Link survive to meet his newborn twins? Or will Jo be left widowed, continuing the show's cycle of love and loss? One thing is certain, Grey Sloan Memorial's halls are about to change forever. Hey lovely viewers, welcome to our channel Grey's Anatomy Official. Grey's Anatomy interview has us worried Link is going to die in the season 22 premiere. Grey's Anatomy fans, brace yourselves. Your emotional stability might be about to be tested. If you recall from the season 21 finale, a massive explosion happens at Grey Sloan Memorial, leaving the fates of several beloved characters hanging by a thread. Now, with season 22 just around the corner, a new interview has everyone on edge about whether Link, Chris Carmack, head of orthopedic surgery, will survive the catastrophic event. The explosion erupts on Grey Sloan's floor, throwing doctors and staff into immediate chaos. Monica, Jules, and Bailey are shown on the floor having a conversation, while Link is inside an operating room, in the middle of a surgery. We never find out if these four characters make it out of the blast alive at the end of the 21st season, and this is what's been on fans' minds ever since. Now, Camilla Luddington, who plays Jo, Link's wife, has added fuel to the fire in a recent interview. While speaking to Us Weekly about filming the 22nd season, Luddington seemed to hint that her character will return. This shouldn't come as a surprise, given that the last time we saw Jo in Grey's Anatomy season 21, she was outside the hospital when the explosion happened. However, Luddington avoided giving any clear answers about Link's fate, but the comments she did make have only made us more worried that Link might not make it out alive. When discussing how she first learned about the explosion, she expressed how she hadn't anticipated that things would go so dramatically wrong for her character and Link. She admitted that she initially believed Jo and Link's happiness might actually last, only to soon find out, as a veteran of the show, that Grey's Anatomy was about to deliver another shocking twist. I should have known. It didn't occur to me, and I'm a vet of 13 years of that show, and I was like, damn, things are going so well, like, so naive. And I'm like, oh, of course. No, there's gonna be an explosion, and my husband will be in it. I should have known. She also mentioned that the Grey's Anatomy season 22 premiere wasn't her favorite to film since it was really traumatic for the cast and crew. While we don't know who exactly won't survive the explosion, Link seems to be in the most danger. Jo had just revealed to Link that they were expecting twins in the season 21 finale. If you know anything about Grey's Anatomy, this show loves to deliver good news only to immediately throw in a life-threatening disaster to shock fans. There's a possibility that we'll see Link initially survive the explosion. Maybe we'll see him in a coma in the hospital in the season 22 premiere. But then his condition could suddenly take a turn for the worse, and Jo is left a widow and a single mother. It wouldn't be the first time the medical drama series has done something like this, where a character initially survives a life-threatening event only to face tragic consequences later. Obviously, we want to see Link make it out alive and him and Joe live happily together. But it's always best to prepare for the worst. Why Ellen Pompeo's Dr. Meredith Grey left Grey's Anatomy. In 2022, before season 19 of Shonda Rhimes' long-running medical series Grey's Anatomy kicked off, Deadline broke the news that the show was losing its titular Grey. According to the outlet, Ellen Pompeo, who's been playing Dr. Meredith Grey on the small screen since 2005, had stepped back from her lead role and was, at the time, only set to appear in 8 episodes of season 19 to ensure that she could work on other projects, including the then untitled Hulu series which became 2025's Good American Family. Back then, fans of Grey's Anatomy were given 2 important pieces of information regarding Pompeo's continued involvement. She'd keep narrating the series, and she would stay on as an executive producer. Technically, Meredith Grey moves from Seattle to Boston in season 19, but Pompeo is definitely still, by any conceivable metric, on Grey's Anatomy. She ended up appearing in 10 episodes of season 19, including Meredith's final episode, I'll Follow the Sun, 5 episodes of season 20, which was abbreviated due to the 2023 Hollywood strikes, and 7 episodes in season 21. So, why did Pompeo exit after all that time, and why did she keep making appearances at all? We'll come back to that second question, but first, during an interview with The Hollywood Reporter for Good American Family, Pompeo, who, I should say, rarely minces words whenever she speaks publicity, was blunt about why she stuck around on the medical drama for such a long time. On Grey's, you really only get an opportunity to be nominated for things in your first few seasons, and so that time had clearly passed, she explained. I didn't crave that kind of recognition. I craved the sort of financial and job security situation more that I did critical accolades. That's why I stayed on the show. Pompeo then spoke about her future as an actor, seemingly hoping that she could earn some accolades in different projects. Had I been chasing critical acclaim, I wouldn't have stayed on Grey's for so long, she continued. So, it wasn't always the most important thing to me, but now that I'm doing something new, it would definitely, probably help me in this next chapter of my story, moving on from Grey's, doing other roles. To be absolutely fair here, Pompeo has been turning in solid to excellent performances as Meredith Grey for 2 decades, and was routinely snubbed for Emmys when her also great co-stars Sandra Oh and Chunder Wilson got multiple nods, and Katherine Heigl, who departed in season 6, even won one for her work in season 2. Beyond that, though, here's how the show writes Meredith off and why Pompeo will never fully cut the connective tissue between her and Grey's Anatomy. Why does Meredith leave Grey's Anatomy? And how does the show allow her to keep sticking around anyway? Even if you haven't watched even a minute of Grey's Anatomy, it's not hard to ascertain that Ellen Pompeo's Meredith Grey plays the biggest role in the series. We first meet her on her inaugural day as a surgical intern, where she's reunited with a one-night stand she met at a bar, only to learn that he's her boss, Dr. Derek Shepard, Patrick Dempsey, the hospital's new chief of neurosurgery. Despite some frankly enormous and highly dramatic hurdles, the two ultimately get married and adopt a daughter, Zola, and have 2 children after that, Bailey and Ellis. However, in the show's 11th season, Derek is grievously injured in a car accident and ends up dying of a brain bleed. Pompeo, apparently, didn't hate the fact that the series wrote off her in-universe husband. Meredith, the consummate survivor, carries on as best as she can. In some ways, she deals with her newfound grief by diving headfirst into her work, and thanks to that and a groundbreaking abdominal wall transplant, she wins the prestigious Harper Avery Award for Surgical Innovation, following in the footsteps of her famous surgeon mother, Dr. Ellis Grey, Kate Burton. After a brief relationship with cardiothoracic surgeon Dr. Nathan Riggs, Martin Henderson, Meredith dates intern Dr. Andrew DeLuca and, as of Grey's Anatomy season 21, comfortably settles down with fellow general surgeon Dr. Nick Marsh. The whole reason for Meredith's exit, though, is that she realizes that Zola, played as a young woman by Anila Gums, is suffering from severe anxiety, and after Meredith brings Zola to visit Boston to look at private schools, Zola expresses interest in attending one geared towards STEM. This is the canonical in-universe reason for Meredith and her family, including Nick, to decamp to Boston and technically leave the show. So, how does the series justify keeping her around anyway? Truthfully, Ellen Pompeo will always be a part of Grey's Anatomy in some way. Okay, so why does Meredith Grey keep flying within the narrative of Grey's Anatomy between Seattle and Boston? Well, canonically, she's working on a research project intended to cure Alzheimer's, the degenerative cognitive disease that led to the death of her mother. In real life, however, Ellen Pompeo has been quite candid about why she didn't leave Grey's Anatomy completely. As she told Elle Pace, she made the show what it is today and still wants to reap the benefits. That would make no sense, emotionally or financially, Pompeo said of leaving the series entirely. The show was streamed more than 1 billion times in 2024. More than 1 billion times. She continued. The companies that own the show and stream the show make a lot of money from our images and our voices and our faces. If I were to walk away completely, everybody gets to make money from my hard work for 20 years and I wouldn't make any money. To me, it doesn't make any sense that everybody else gets to profit off of my hard work. And emotionally, the show means a lot to people. I want to have an attitude of gratitude toward the show. This is, to be honest, pretty fair from Pompeo's perspective, and as she said, stepping away partially and not fully has given her a better life overall. I've been doing it for 20 years, so it was time to step away, Pompeo revealed. I have 3 children and I love spending time with them and I love being involved in their lives. I'm very lucky to be able to get to work sometimes and take time off. I have a nice balance in my life. Why Ellen Pompeo's Dr. Meredith Grey left Grey's Anatomy in 2022, before season 19 of Shonda Rhimes' long-running medical series Grey's Anatomy kicked off, Deadline broke the news that the show was losing its titular Grey. According to the outlet, Ellen Pompeo, who's been playing Dr. Meredith Grey on the small screen since 2005, had stepped back from her lead role and was, at the time, only set to appear in 8 episodes of season 19 to ensure that she could work on other projects, including the then untitled Hulu series which became 2025's Good American Family. Back then, fans of Grey's Anatomy were given 2 important pieces of information regarding Pompeo's continued involvement. She'd keep narrating the series, and she would stay on as an executive producer. First look at Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere reveals who survived the explosion. Fans get an early look at things to come in Grey's Anatomy Season 22. It even comes with quiet confirmations regarding who survived the Season 21 finale. The new images from Grey's Anatomy Season 22 come courtesy of an exclusive from Entertainment Weekly. In the images, fans can see Anthony Hill's Winston Dugu holding back Katerina Scorseone's Amelia Shepard, which does not bode particularly well for Chris Carmack's Atticus Link Lincoln. Fans also see Ellen Pompeo's Meredith Grey, Alexis Floyd's Simone Griffith, and newcomer Trevor Jackson's unnamed hot guy in turn. Readers can see the exclusive images for themselves in the gallery below. The season finale of Grey's Anatomy Season 21, How Do I Live?, saw the series' hospital come under siege from a desperate Jenna Gatlin, portrayed by Piper Perabo, whose daughter was suffering from a near-inoperable cavernous angioma on her brainstem. Armed with a lighter and a tank of acetylene, Jenna took numerous members of the hospital staff hostage and forced them to operate. Although Jenna was ultimately taken into custody, a misunderstanding regarding the tank that she stole and its contents led to a delayed explosion in an active operating room. What to expect from Grey's Anatomy Season 22 showrunner Meg Marinis confirmed that fans clearly saw Link in immediate danger, and that audiences will just have to see whether Link makes it through this explosion. Marinis also promised that one fan-favorite character will be playing a much larger role in Season 22 after escaping the situation unscathed, specifically Trevor Jackson's intern, aka Hot Guy. He's so talented. It's been so fun with him on set already, and he is definitely mixing up the dynamics between our resident cast members, specifically Simone and Lucas, Marinis said of Jackson and his character. While almost every other character on Grey's Anatomy is always in at least some amount of danger, Ellen Pompeo's Meredith Grey has nothing of the sort to worry about. When asked back in April about whether she might make her own exit from Grey's Anatomy in the near future, Pompeo responded, "Leaving the show would make no sense, emotionally or financially. The show was streamed more than 1 billion times in 2024. More than 1 billion times. If I were to walk away completely, everybody gets to make money from my hard work for 20 years and I wouldn't make any money. To me, it doesn't make any sense that everybody else gets to profit off of my hard work. And emotionally, the show means a lot to people. I want to have an attitude of gratitude toward the show." Grey's Anatomy star's thrilling horror with showstopper finale is now trending in the UK. Thanksgiving, the thrilling horror featuring Grey's Anatomy star Patrick Dempsey, is trending in the UK. The 2023 film, which is based on a fictitious trailer from 2007's Grindhouse, takes place in a small Massachusetts town which is being terrorized by a vicious serial killer during the Thanksgiving holiday. Featuring Addison Rae and Gina Gershon in supporting roles, the slasher horror was added to Netflix in the UK on Monday, September 1st, and it has proved to be a hit with viewers as it currently sits at number 4 on the streamer's film chart, via FlixPatrol. What to next? In addition to its popularity with viewers, Thanksgiving also struck a chord with critics upon its original release, with its approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes currently standing at an impressive 84% from 150 reviews. Like curating the perfect holiday feast, Roth orchestrates a vicious, thrilling, and raucously entertaining slasher with a showstopper finale, opined Bloody Disgusting, while the Daily Telegraph called it a bloody feast to savor. The ingredients are absolutely familiar, but what makes the whole recipe satisfying is the sheer amount of gruesome fun Roth manages to have with the concept, wrote Empire magazine. The wrap was also full of praise, writing, with eye-popping production design and an invitingly rowdy premise, you feel just thankful enough for the full, calorie-rich meal Roth's latest slasher provides. It offers plenty of cheap thrills, or more accurately cheap kills, presented with the sort of attention to bloodthirsty detail that horror aficionados crave, wrote The Hollywood Reporter, while The Guardian called it inventive and gratifying. Such was the success of the film, with box office takings of $46 million against a $15 million budget. A sequel was soon greenlit by producers, with Roth returning to conceive the story while also taking his seat in the director's chair again. Thanksgiving 2 was originally slated for a theatrical release in November, though that now looks unlikely given the fact that Nell Verloc confirmed to Deadline in May that filming on the film was yet to begin. For ways, Grey's Anatomy accurately depicts hospital teamwork. For long, Grey's Anatomy has been winning hearts with its depiction of life in a hospital, giving an insight into how medical teams actually work. Though highly dramatized, the series does bring out some elements of real-life hospital team dynamics. Be it collaboration or communication, these are important to ensure proper patient care and seamless functioning in hospitals. Here's what Grey's Anatomy gets right about them. Effective communication among teams. In Grey's Anatomy, communication is another theme that reflects real-life hospitals. How doctors, nurses, and support staff communicate with each other is crucial for patient safety and smooth workflow. The show beautifully demonstrates how clear instructions and open dialogue can save you from misunderstandings and mistakes in treatment plans. This further highlights the importance of communication in keeping the team together. Hierarchical structures and their impact. The series also frequently depicts the hierarchical nature of hospital teams, mirroring reality where seniority dictates decision-making processes. In hospitals, seasoned professionals mentor and supervise less experienced staff. This structure can help keep things in check, but can also create friction if not handled properly. Grey's Anatomy showcases both the perks and the potential downfalls of such hierarchies in medical teams. Importance of team collaboration. Collaboration is also a major component highlighted in Grey's Anatomy. The series showcases how different specialists join hands to effectively diagnose and treat patients. In real-life hospitals, collaboration between departments provides holistic treatment by combining expertise from different fields, including surgery, radiology, and nursing. This spirit of collaboration boosts problem-solving capacity at healthcare facilities. Handling stressful situations together. Hospital environments are bound to be stressful with high-stakes life-and-death situations. Grey's Anatomy encapsulates the intensity of medical crises. It also shows how team members support each other, offering emotional resilience or practical help when needed. This is an accurate depiction of many real-world medical institutions. Camaraderie is an integral part of the pressure-filled circumstances healthcare workers face every day. 15 greatest medical dramas of all time. There are a lot of great medical dramas to choose from, but some shows are more memorable and gripping than others. Although some series set in hospitals offer fresh takes on TV tropes, like the humorous St. Denis Medical, nothing leaves a lasting impression like a serious, thought-provoking drama about life, death, and hope. The most impressive medical dramas know that a doctor or nurse's personal life is just as compelling as the wild, terrifying, and challenging cases they're trying to solve. The best shows in the genre stand out thanks to a particularly excellent main character, a strong ensemble cast, or a distinct and unforgettable tone that isn't typical for it. The Knick, 2014 to 2015. Period piece medical dramas are rare, which is what makes The Knick so excellent. The Dark series features some top talent, including stars Andre Holland and Clive Owen, as well as a standout director in Steven Soderbergh. Along with telling a fascinating story about running a hospital in the 1900s, the show paints a complex portrait of one man's substance abuse struggles. Dr. John W. Thackeray Owen, who goes by Thack, is the best surgeon at the Knickerbocker Hospital. However, his drug use hangs in the background and could ruin his career at any moment. It's common to see medical drama storylines about class and race, but The Knick delves even deeper with Dr. Algernon C. Edwards' Holland main storyline. Edward is in charge of a clinic in the hospital basement, where he helps Black patients. The Knick doesn't shy away from gory surgery scenes or the bleak, heartbreaking history of racism and medicine. Code Black, 2015 to 2018. The hospital itself is essentially a main character in the 2010 series Code Black, which is set at Angels Memorial Hospital, a place without enough money and employees to function as it should. This is a realistic, important, and relevant problem, which makes this show more interesting than your run-of-the-mill hospital show with love triangles, fighting doctors, and melodrama. Marcia Gay Harden, known for an impressive career that also includes the beloved play Angels in America, gives one of her most arresting and heartbreaking performances as Dr. Leanne Rorish. She has a lot in common with other medical drama protagonists, as she's tough, brash, and ignores her personal life in favor of advancing her career. However, Leanne is dealing with trauma from her past, and she's one of the most well-developed surgeon characters in the genre. Leanne has a well-written arc and experiences real growth by the third and final season. While Code Black is tough to watch at times, the journey is worth it. Nurse Jackie, 2009 to 2015. Nurse Jackie's dark tone sets it apart from most medical dramas, and the captivating main character is another reason it's still impressive. Although it's not the only medical drama to feature a main character with an addiction, Edie Falco's performance as Jackie Payton, an All Saints hospital nurse, is one for the books. Like the best anti-heroes who don't suffer fools, Jackie is flawed, torn between her family and work life, and making mistakes every day. The show doesn't offer any easy or trite answers and shows that addiction is a long journey. Despite the serious subjects at the heart of the story, Nurse Jackie manages to weave in some funny moments, as Jackie is strong-willed and maintains her sense of humor no matter what. Its singular tone and gripping main character are definitely two reasons why a Nurse Jackie sequel is on its way. Bramwell, 1995 to 1998, a period piece centered around Dr. Eleanor Bramwell, Gemma Redgrave. Bramwell is an underrated but clever series. Set in London in 1895, the show dives into topics ranging from sexism to class, poverty, and wealth. While not as well known as other medical dramas or on the air for as long, the show is great for history buffs and for those looking for a different take on the usual series set at a hospital. Eleanor goes through more than we can possibly imagine thanks to being born in the time that she was, and her capability and determination are inspiring. The Resident, 2018 to 2023. The great characters make The Resident a must-watch, particularly sweet nurse Nick Nevin, Emily Van Camp, and sometimes egotistical and always stubborn Dr. Conrad Hawkins, Matt Chutry. Their dynamic is gripping, as they have opposite personalities, but also have a shared belief in helping others. Over the show's 6 seasons, the main characters fall in love, deal with their pasts, and think about their career dreams, all while saving patients and facing tough cases. Fox's cancellation was disappointing, as it was easy to imagine watching Conrad and his colleagues for several more seasons. The Hot Zone, 2019 to 2021. The true stories of epidemics of Ebola and anthrax are told across 2 seasons of this National Geographic series. The Hot Zone stands out when compared to melodramatic streaming dramas like Pulse that focus more on romance than medicine. Thanks to great performances from Daniel Day Kim and Juliana Margulies, among several others, this series is gripping and memorable. It's not as beloved as many others in the genre, likely because of its serious and depressing subject matter, but it's still worth seeking out. Private Practice, 2007 to 2013, Shonda Rhimes' knack for crafting compelling characters is evident in Private Practice, the Grey's Anatomy spin-off centered on smart and focused Dr. Addison Montgomery, Kate Walsh. The show might not have the same fan base as the original, but it's still praiseworthy due to its dark yet well-done storylines and strong character arcs. Although some ensemble dramas fail to fully explore each main character, Private Practice excels at ensuring that everyone gets the spotlight. Addison's love life might be front and center, but her co-workers like Naomi Bennett, Audra McDonald, and Violet Turner, Amy Brenneman, are given plenty of interesting plot lines throughout all 6 seasons. Saint Elsewhere, 1982 to 1988, one of the earliest ensemble dramas that takes place in a hospital, Saint Elsewhere deserves to be appreciated for the market left on the genre. Although it's not as popular today as some other shows, its impact can't be forgotten. Several decades before Grey's Anatomy featured various interns and their huge dreams, Saint Elsewhere shone a light on young, aspiring doctors. Most of all, however, the show is known for its series finale, which was creative, different, and memorable. It's worth seeking the series out for that episode alone, as it featured a storyline that was much more interesting than a typical send-off where all the main characters are happy and ready for the next steps in their journeys. Chicago Med, 2015. The combination of emotional cases and well-drawn characters makes Chicago Med a top-notch medical drama. Like the other series in the One Chicago family that tells stories about police officers and firefighters, the life-or-death moments and bold cliffhangers are just as much of a draw as the characters. A medical drama that stays on the air for over 10 seasons is also a big achievement, as many are canceled when only one season has aired, like Dr. Odyssey, Ryan Murphy's soapy series. Although it can feel formulaic at times, and some other shows have more distinct premises, Chicago Med succeeds in depicting characters who are intelligent, skilled, and fun to watch. But as each main character is given their own significant arc from time to time, the show sends the compelling message that being vulnerable improves every part of your life. The Good Doctor, 2017 to 2024. With an excellent main character and more than a few emotional storylines, The Good Doctor deserves its status as a popular and important hospital drama. Adapted from the South Korean Good Doctor, the show focuses on Sean Murphy, Freddie Highmore, an autistic doctor. Although many likely worried that the show would feature stereotypes rather than looking at Sean as a person, that isn't the case, and he has a strong character arc across all 7 seasons. The show also deserves praise for being a genuinely good ensemble drama. It's particularly moving watching Sean's relationship with mentor Dr. Aaron Glassman, Richard Schiff, evolve. It can be tricky to wrap up a series in a satisfying way, but The Good Doctor's finale is a memorable mix of sweet and devastating. Sean grows up but stays true to himself, and that's all that fans can ask for of a main character. Transplant, 2020 to 2024, with a main character who is a refugee. This Canadian medical drama has a more serious and thoughtful premise than many other shows in the genre. Transplant doesn't often get the recognition it should, and sometimes gets lost considering how many series there are about doctors falling in love and juggling personal issues while saving lives. In contrast to some dramas, however, Transplant is realistic and important. Dr. Bashir Hamd, Hamza Haq, who goes by Bash, goes on a compelling journey to become a doctor. He moves from Syria to Toronto and works as a York Memorial Hospital resident, and it's fascinating seeing him work toward his dream over 4 seasons. Grey's Anatomy, 2005. Grey's Anatomy should be celebrated for sustaining a large fan base for over 20 seasons, delivering many memorable and compelling episodes, along with smart and complex characters like Christina Young, Sandra Oh. Other dramas have big, flashy medical cases, but almost no other show has staying power like Shonda Rhimes' ABC series. From the fire in the season 13 finale to the 2-part season 2 storyline when a bomb is inside the chest of a patient, there are more than a few visually stunning and shocking Grey's Anatomy episodes. With resilient and vulnerable doctors like Meredith Grey, Ellen Pompeo, who show up and give their career everything they have, the show mixes soapy storylines with raw and real character arcs. The Pit, 2025. Creative storytelling, excellent characters, and raw emotion make up every episode of the HBO Max medical drama The Pit. That would be enough to cement it as one of the most unforgettable entries in the genre. But then there's its fantastic premise. When you tune into each episode, you're watching the doctors and staff of a Pittsburgh hospital during each hour of a 15-hour shift. Season 1 has big egos, stressful situations, and a packed waiting room with no end in sight. It's also the first day for some medical students and brand new residents, which adds to the riveting and fast-paced tone. The Pit drew praise for its performances from cast members like Taylor Dearden, who portrays the intelligent and compassionate Dr. Mel King, and its smart takes on relevant topics, such as measles vaccination. There are some devastating and grim storylines that are challenging to watch, but that only emphasizes the high quality of the show. House, 2004 to 2012. House is part of every conversation about favorite hospital shows, and that's due to Dr. Gregory House, Hugh Laurie, a protagonist who can only be described as unique. From his struggles with addiction and connection to his complicated romance with Lisa Cuddy, Lisa Edelstein, House's flawed lead is always interesting. Since the main character has such a distinct take on each medical case, the show will always be one of the most creative and impressive medical dramas. House is also inspired by Sherlock Holmes, and this fresh take on the classic story sets it apart. Our 1994 to 2009. The show that every other medical drama will always be compared to, ER is the most intriguing and unforgettable show in the genre. Each episode features interesting medical cases, but you love the characters and want them to be successful and happy, and the show never forgets that's the whole point. Every time you watch a new medical show, whether a comedy or drama, it's hard not to think about how it measures up to ER's well-written characters and dynamic relationships. ER will always be a beloved binge watch. After all, it's been over 30 years since its premiere, and people are still discussing the medical drama and looking back on it fondly. Who survived the Grey's Anatomy explosion? An exclusive look at the season 22 premiere reveals clues. We clearly saw Link in immediate danger. Showrunner Meg Marinis teases of Chris Carmack's character. Season 21 of Grey's Anatomy ended with an explosion in one of the Grey Sloan Memorial operating rooms. Showrunner Meg Marinis breaks down who is in danger as the action picks up in the season 22 premiere, and exclusive photos provide more clues. Marinis also reveals how the new intern played by Trevor Jackson is mixing up the dynamics, and how much we can expect to see Ellen Pompeo's Meredith Grey this season. Grey's Anatomy finales are always explosive, but not usually in a literal sense. In May, the ABC drama concluded with a hostage situation resolved peacefully, only to be followed up with the last-minute surprise that an explosive gas had been released into one of the operating rooms. Just before the credits rolled, a ball of fire burst from Grey Sloan Memorial, leaving fans to wonder who is in danger. Now, Entertainment Weekly has exclusive photos from the season 22 premiere that provide a few answers. But just a few weeks ago, not even the writers knew who would survive. I knew what I thought initially, showrunner Meg Marinis tells EW, but I wanted to wait until my writers were back so that people could also fight and argue with me. And so some things changed, some didn't. But I want to give everyone a chance to fight for what happens to specific characters. So who should we be worried about? Monica Beltran, Natalie Morales, and Jules Millen, Adelaide Kane, were on the floor preparing for surgery. Miranda Bailey, Chandra Wilson, was at the scheduling board, so also at risk. Teddy Altman, Kim Raver, and Lucas Adams, Nico Taro, were both separately on their way to find Richard Webber, James Pickens Jr., so any of those three might have been nearby. Then there's Ben Warren, Jason George, who ran into the hospital the moment he saw the explosion. First look at Grey's Anatomy season 22 premiere reveals who survived the explosion. Fans get an early look at things to come in Grey's Anatomy season 22. It even comes with quiet confirmations regarding who survived the season 21 finale. The new images from Grey's Anatomy season 22 come courtesy of an exclusive from Entertainment Weekly. In the images, fans can see Anthony Hill's Winston Dugu holding back Katerina Scorsone's Amelia Shepard, which does not bode particularly well for Chris Carmack's Atticus Link Lincoln. Fans also see Ellen Pompeo's Meredith Grey, Alexis Floyd's Simone Griffith, and newcomer Trevor Jackson's unnamed hot guy intern. Readers can see the exclusive images for themselves in the gallery below. The season finale of Grey's Anatomy season 21, How Do I Live?, saw the series' hospital come under siege from a desperate Jenna Gatlin, portrayed by Piper Perabo, whose daughter was suffering from a near-inoperable cavernous angioma on her brainstem. Armed with a lighter and a tank of acetylene, Jenna took numerous members of the hospital staff hostage and forced them to operate. Although Jenna was ultimately taken into custody, a misunderstanding regarding the tank that she stole and its contents led to a delayed explosion in an active operating room. What to expect from Grey's Anatomy Season 22 showrunner Meg Marinis confirmed that fans clearly saw Link in immediate danger, and that audiences will just have to see whether Link makes it through this explosion. Marinis also promised that one fan-favorite character will be playing a much larger role in Season 22 after escaping the situation unscathed, specifically Trevor Jackson's intern, aka Hot Guy. He's so talented. It's been so fun with him on set already, and he is definitely mixing up the dynamics between our resident cast members, specifically Simone and Lucas, Marinis said of Jackson and his character. While almost every other character on Grey's Anatomy is always in at least some amount of danger, Ellen Pompeo's Meredith Grey has nothing of the sort to worry about. When asked back in April about whether she might make her own exit from Grey's Anatomy in the near future, Pompeo responded, "Leaving the show would make no sense, emotionally or financially. The show was streamed more than 1 billion times in 2024. More than 1 billion times. If I were to walk away completely, everybody gets to make money from my hard work for 20 years and I wouldn't make any money. To me, it doesn't make any sense that everybody else gets to profit off of my hard work. And emotionally, the show means a lot to people. I want to have an attitude of gratitude toward the show." Grey's Anatomy Season 22 images tease who survived finale explosion after the shocking explosion at the end of the Grey's Anatomy Season 21 finale. Brand new photos give some insight into who did and didn't survive the horrifying ordeal. Grey's Anatomy is known for shocking storylines that put its characters at risk of dying, like Derek Shepherd, George O'Malley, Lexi Gray, and Mark Sloan. After some of the characters were held hostage, Grey's Anatomy Season 21 ended with an explosion at the hospital when a patient's family member caused a gas tank to blow up. Fans have had to wait several months for an answer over who lived and who might have died. EW shared brand new photos from Grey's Anatomy Season 22 that shed light on the traumatic situation. In one image, Meredith Grey looks concerned while sitting on the edge of a hospital bed occupied by Dr. Leah Westbrook. The second photo shows a distraught Amelia Shepherd in a hospital room while Winston Dugu tries to keep her in place. Another photo reveals Trevor Jackson returning as an intern as he stares at Simone Griffith in an elevator. Alongside the release of these 3 photos, Grey's Anatomy showrunner Meg Marinis told EW what fans can expect when the medical drama returns on October 9th. She acknowledged that Link is in immediate danger since he was in the operating room when the explosion occurred. "We clearly saw Link in immediate danger. We'll just have to see whether Link makes it through this explosion. I wanted to return right to the chaos. There's obviously going to be some hospital rebuilding that needs to happen. And so we're going to play the aftermath for more than just the first episode. Absolutely. The emotional trauma as well as the hospital needing to be put back together." What Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere photos mean after big events unfold. Sometimes a TV show might jump forward in time. However, the Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere will continue the storyline right from when the finale ended, so there will be a lot of chaos at Grey Sloan Memorial. As a result of the explosion, the hospital will have to undergo some construction. All the aftermath, from any characters that might die to the physical state of the building, will continue well after the premiere. Link isn't the only person at Grey Sloan who's in danger. Monica Beltran, Jules Millen, Miranda Bailey, Teddy Altman, Lucas Adams, and Richard Webber were all inside the hospital at the time of the explosion, with Beltran and Millen on the exact same floor. Ben Warren may have been outside amid the explosion, but he rushed back inside right afterward. The photo of a distraught Amelia appears to be the biggest indicator that Link might have died. However, this could just be Grey's Anatomy's way of throwing fans off the scent and directing attention at Link when it may end up being another character who didn't survive. Our take on the explosion aftermath on Grey's Anatomy, since there won't be any time jumps when Grey's Anatomy returns, fans will get to find out everyone's fates at the same time as the characters. The premiere will be very chaotic, as Marinis teased, which will make for a very captivating premiere. The writers and producers of Grey's Anatomy are not afraid to kill off major and long-running characters, so there are several whom fans should be worried about, including Link. With 6 weeks left until the premiere, The anticipation is building, and fans are in for a wild ride when Grey's Anatomy returns on October 9th at 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on ABC. I have a wild theory about who dies in the Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere, but another Shonda Rhimes show may have already proved me wrong. We've still got a month to go before Grey's Anatomy returns to the 2025 TV schedule and throws us into the chaotic aftermath of the explosion at Grey Sloan Memorial, and I've already spent a lot of time thinking about what's to come. Who will die? Will it be multiple doctors? Who do we know is safe? I'm working on a new theory, but it's admittedly a pretty wild one, especially because it may have already been disproven on a different Shonda Rhimes series. To backtrack a little bit here, in the Grey's Anatomy Season 21 finale, available to stream on Hulu or with a Netflix subscription, a canister of gas that was thought to be empty after Piper Perebo's hostage situation ignited, blowing out a portion of the building and operating floor. Meredith Grey, Ellen Pompeo, and Ben Warren, Jason George, were outside of the hospital when the blast occurred, so I've been assuming they are safe. But what if that's just what they want us to think? Subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Grey's Anatomy alum Kate Walsh puts her spin on the life of a showgirl, in fishnets and lace corset. The actress said she couldn't resist sharing the throwback photo in honor of Taylor Swift's new album. Kate Walsh is the latest star to share her own version of the cover for Taylor Swift's forthcoming album, The Life of a Showgirl. Just 2 weeks after Swift nearly broke the internet with the announcement of her 12th studio album, Walsh said she just couldn't resist sharing a photo from her own showgirl era. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 release date. When the beloved medical drama returns to ABC, get ready for more medical drama and more regular drama, because Grey's Anatomy returns to ABC this fall. In Season 22 of the show, Meredith Grey, executive producer Ellen Pompeo, will return for another season that is sure to keep you reaching for the tissues. But when exactly can you plan for the release date of Grey's Anatomy Season 22? The Grey's Anatomy Season 22 release date is Thursday, October 9th at 10 o'clock Eastern/Pacific on ABC. New episodes of the 18-episode season will continue to air in that time slot on a weekly basis. After the episodes have aired on ABC, they will be available for streaming the next day on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+. It hasn't been too long since the previous season of Grey's Anatomy concluded in May 2025, and given the number of exciting TV release dates this fall, you'll want to carefully plan your viewing schedule. Currently, there is not a trailer available for Grey's Anatomy Season 22. Grey's Anatomy Season 21 concluded with an explosive cliffhanger. A bomb exploded inside Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital. While we know Meredith, Ben Warren, Jason George, and Joe Wilson, Camilla Luddington, probably weren't in the building, it's possible that some of the other characters might have been caught in the blast. The show also stars Alexis Floyd as Simone Griffith, Anthony Hill as Winston Dugu, Adelaide Kane as Jules Millen, Kevin McKidd as Owen Hunt, James Pickens Jr. as Richard Webber, Kim Raver as Teddy Altman, Katarina Scorsone as Amelia Shepard, and Chandra Wilson as Miranda Bailey. Plus, Patrick Dempsey is meant to return as Derek Shepard for at least 7 episodes of Grey's Anatomy Season 22. Thanks for watching this videos. Please hit the